Hello, my darlings. Tonight I want to talk to you about those heavy, shadowed moments we all face. The days when it feels like the world is closing in, and no matter where you turn, you can't seem to find your way out of the darkness. I call them dark days, and believe me, I've had my share of them. If you're sitting in the middle of one of those days right now, let me start by saying this. You are not alone. Even when it feels like the world has turned its back on you, even when the silence of the night feels louder than your own thoughts, you are not alone. There is a light, my sweet one, even in the darkest of days. Let me tell you how I know. The darkest night of my life. When I was a young woman, I went through a time in my life that I thought I would never recover from. It was the winter of my 26th year, and everything seemed to go wrong all at once. My husband, the love of my life, lost his job, and with it our sense of stability. We had 2 little ones at home, barely enough money to buy groceries, and bills piling up faster than we could keep track of. Then, just as I thought things couldn't get worse, I lost my mother. A sudden, unexpected loss that felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. I remember one particular night during that time. The house was cold because we couldn't afford to heat it properly. My babies were asleep, wrapped in layers of blankets, and I sat alone in the living room, staring at the flickering candlelight. The weight of everything felt unbearable. I cried until I had no tears left, my chest aching from the sobs, my mind swirling with hopeless thoughts. I felt like I was drowning in the darkness, like I would never see light again. Finding the light. But then something shifted. In the quiet of that cold, dark night, I felt a small, unexpected warmth in my heart. It wasn't loud or dramatic, it was gentle, like the first rays of dawn after a long and sleepless night. I didn't know it then, but that small warmth was the beginning of the light that would guide me out of my darkest days. Started with little things. A neighbor who knocked on my door with a pot of soup because she just made too much. A friend who stopped by to check on me and ended up sitting with me for hours just listening. A moment of laughter from my children that reminded me that joy still existed, even in the hardest times. Those small lights began to build one by one, until I could see a path forward. And as I walked that path, the darkness began to lift. What I learned from my dark days. Looking back on that time now, I realize it taught me some of the most important lessons of my life. And tonight, I want to share those lessons with you, my sweet ones, in case they can help you find your way out of your own darkness. 1. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. When you're in the middle of your darkest days, it's okay to feel sad, scared, or even angry. Don't let anyone tell you that you have to snap out of it or be strong. Your feelings are valid, and they are a natural response to what you're going through. But remember this too. Your feelings don't define you. They are part of your journey, not the whole of who you are. 2. Look for the small lights. When everything feels dark, the big answers can seem out of reach. But there are always small lights if you look for them. A kind word, a moment of beauty, a quiet sense of peace. They may not solve everything, but they can remind you that the darkness is not all there is. 3. You are stronger than you think. There were moments during my dark days when I thought I couldn't go on, but I did, and you will too. You have a strength inside you that you might not even know is there. Trust it even when it feels small, for you are not alone. One of the hardest things about dark days is the feeling of isolation. But even when it feels like no one understands, there are people who care about you and want to help. Let them in. Let them be your light when you can't find your own. A personal reflection. After my husband found work again and our situation stabilized, I realized something profound. The darkness I had experienced had changed me, but not in the way I feared. It had made me more compassionate, more patient, and more aware of the struggles of others. And when I lost my mother, though the pain of her absence never fully left, it taught me to cherish every moment with the people I love. Her memory became a light for me, guiding me through the rest of my life. For you, my sweet ones, if you're going through a dark time right now, I want you to know that you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to fix everything overnight. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just take one small step, and then another, and trust that the path will become clearer as you go. Remember this: the darkness is not the end of your story. It is a chapter, and like all chapters, it will pass. Practical comfort for dark days. Here are a few things you can do when the darkness feels overwhelming. Reach out to someone you trust. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or a counselor, talking about what you're going through can help lighten the load. Write it down. Sometimes, putting your thoughts and feelings into words can help you make sense of them. Take care of your body. Even small things like drinking a glass of water or taking a short walk can remind you that you are alive and capable. Look for the small joys. A flower blooming, a favorite song, a moment of quiet. They may seem small, but they can be powerful. Pray or reflect. Whatever your spiritual practice is, take time to connect with it. Let it be your anchor in the storm. A grandma's blessing. As I sit here tonight, thinking of each of you who may be struggling, my heart is full of love and hope for you. I know that life can be hard, and that the darkness can feel unbearable at times. But I also know that you are not alone. You are stronger than you think. You are more loved than you know. And the light you're searching for is closer than you realize. So tonight, as you rest your head, I want you to remember this. The storm will pass, the darkness will lift, and the light will return. And when it does, you will find that you are stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than you were before. Good night, my sweet ones. May you find peace in the quiet of the night and hope in the promise of tomorrow. You are loved always. Crescent Moon. Thank you, my dears, for spending this time with me. Remember, Life's journey is better when we walk it together. If these stories and reflections warmed your heart, be sure to subscribe and join me for more wisdom, comfort, and a little sprinkle of joy. Together, let's keep growing one story at a time. Until next time, stay safe, stay hopeful, and remember, you're never alone. Grandma loves you.